Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Huddle for Friday, May 27th of 2022, the last Morning Huddle of May of 2022, and also we're looking at Memorial Day weekend, so I'm excited about that. It's a solemn weekend, of course, but it's something that is the beginning of summer, and we're shifting gears in our lives. So I wish everybody a happy Memorial Day weekend and a safe one as well. So that being said, today we have a great conversation ahead with Mr. Steve Foreman. He joined the South Florida Regional Planning Council in 2020 and serves as the CARES Act loan administrator. Steve grew up in South Florida and is a graduate of Florida Atlantic University. Steve has 20 years experience in the mortgage industry, and prior to joining the SFRPC, he's held positions at Countywide Home Loans and Morgan Stanley. His position allows him the opportunity to interact with business owners and assist with their funding needs. So please help me welcome Steve Foreman to the Morning Huddle.
Thank you, Danilo. Good to be
Hey,
here. Good
Steve.
to see everyone. And
Fantastic.
happy Friday. Yeah, as Danilo said, I've been here for about 2.5 years now. And as a loan administrator, I've gotten to help about 24 businesses get their CARES RLF loan through us to help their business expand or get equipment as necessary. As Danilo said, I've been in the mortgage business since 2001. And in that time, I've done a lot of review of loan documents, going over customers, whether it be a residential mortgage or a business loan. I've had the opportunity to look at the documents and assess whether the loan that this person is trying to get is suitable for them, and whether they're going to be able to pay it back. And that's pretty much what my responsibility has been here. This program started right after COVID. Through the EDA, they had grants to various regional planning councils in the country, so they would be able to help small businesses that were affected by COVID.
Right.
So, they gave us 2 years to deploy all the funds, and we got a pretty substantial fund of 5.3 million, and we lent it within a year and a half. Just to give you an idea of the businesses that we've helped, we were able to help a supermarket in Miami. They redid everything, new kitchen, in preparation for business, the way business is going to be going forward with COVID and how it's affected how they have to operate. So a lot of business needed to change to handle new processes with COVID, and we were able to give loans for that purpose. We've helped a laundromat, a coin laundry, get into a new facility. We've helped a cleaning service that went from 1,000 square foot facility to a 5,000 square foot facility with trucks. As you can imagine, with COVID, cleaning became a top priority, and they were able to use our loan to, take advantage of that situation, which was definitely a positive for them. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with our revolving loan, but just to give you an idea, as I've come to understand, a lot of people hear the term revolving and automatically think it's a line of credit or something to that effect, which is not the case. The term revolving refers to this being funds that we have to lend, and once they're repaid, we can lend them again. So that's the only part of it that's revolving, is that we get to lend the funds once they're repaid to us. At this point, as I said, we were able to lend all our funds, but we've had funds paid back, and the interest and the repayments. So right now we have about 250,000 available to small businesses. Our RPC does lend in throughout South Florida, so Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and Monroe. We also have a traditional revolving loan fund, And it's similar to the CARES revolving loan fund. We've had this established since Hurricane Irma, and you know that revolving loan fund has helped 400 businesses and helped them retain 8,000 employees. So that one has been ongoing, and that one currently has about 800,000 to lend. The terms of these loans, 4 to 5% interest rate, and they do require businesses to be established at least 3 years, and they do require collateral. Collateral, a lot of people use real estate. Some people use the equipment for their business or the property for their business. And we can also use contracts, receivables that haven't been paid yet, but are expected to be paid. So those are the items that we can use as collateral. The terms are usually, depending on the loan size, our loan sizes are from 25,000 to 500,000. And the term is 5 to 10 years, depending on the loan size. Just to give you an idea, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the South Florida Regional Planning Council, but we're a government agency located in Hollywood, Florida. There's 10 throughout the state, and we happen to handle the South Florida area. There's one in the Treasure Coast, and 8 more throughout the state. They're more about planning intergovernmental coordination, and there's also different programs that we have available. A couple of the programs, we have a Brownsfield program, which helps with the restoration of properties that have contamination, such as former gas stations that are being converted to another type of business. We also have a CDFI, which helps with affordable housing. So that's a program that we've had a lot of success with in Broward, and have been able to provide affordable housing throughout the community. We also have a local emergency planning council, which coordinates efforts made during emergencies such as hurricanes. And we have a Clean Cities program, which coordinates efforts in the region to increase alternative fuel usage, such as electric vehicles, natural gas, and propane. Again, I work with the revolving loan fund, so I've been happy to help businesses throughout the region. And I'd like to know if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Steve. That was a big overview of everything. If you have a question, guys, please raise your hand and I will pass you the mic. And so I want to talk to you about the revolving loan funds, and just to make sure I have all the facts right. Now, initially there were 5.3 million in that fund, right? And some of that has been paid back. How much is available for it?
We have about 250,000 left in that fund. And, each month it grows depending on if we have a loan pay off completely, or, whether it's just the recurring monthly payments.
Fantastic. And so there was another fund that you said was that had some monies in it.
Yeah.
Did I catch that correctly?
That's the traditional revolving loan fund.
The traditional.
Again, it's a similar program. The CARES one just came on after COVID, but the traditional has been here since the 90s. And, we have about 1 million, or between 8 and 1 million available for lending in that program. Again, it's same requirements: 3 years business, collateral, and people hear COVID relief and they might assume that it's for businesses that are struggling because of COVID. That's not necessarily the case. It's you were affected, you were impacted by COVID, but your business can grow, and you do have a customer base, you do have a profit, and you're looking to expand or get new equipment or just working capital.
Right. So that means that folks should try to apply because they were all impacted by COVID, right?
That's correct. I mean, I can't think of anyone that wasn't impacted by COVID.
That's right.
So
yeah,
that's
absolutely. Yeah. Okay. And so the terms for both the CARES Act one, which has 250,000, and you mentioned that changes because its funds get repaid. The terms are exactly the same for both the traditional and the CARES Act?
The CARES Act is 4 to 5% interest
4 to
rate.
5.
And I'd say most of our loans are at 4.5%.
Right.
And the traditional is at 4.5 to 5.5%. So it's a
4.5.
0.5%.
Right. And then 3 years in business. Business owners must put up collateral. What else is a big part of being eligible?
Well, you have to have a business plan. The loan is reviewed by our loan officer, underwritten, and if it passes that stage, then it's approved by a board. And what they do is we look at the business plan to make sure that it's a sound plan, the funds are going to be used properly, and that there's a path to success. So
right. So okay, so are you the person that reviews those business plans?
No, Jeff Tart, he's our loan officer.
Yeah.
His email, I don't know if you have our website, but our information can be found on our website at sfregionalcouncil.org.
It's sfregionalcouncil.org. All right, let's plop that up here, so folks can see it. Let me share that so everybody's. Maybe you can highlight anything that you think is appropriate. So let me share the screen. There it is. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I did have another question about the funding, and I encourage everybody, please speak up and let me know that you have a question or a comment, and I will pass you the mic, okay? So that being said, so this is it. And where can folks learn about the
so if you go
programs,
to programs,
right? Yeah.
Ours is the first one, the Revolving Loan Fund. And
right here, yep.
And you can go to the CARES Act.
Hello, I'm Don Wiggins.
And there are your two contacts right there, Mr. Jeff and Steve, right?
Yes. And
fantastic.
I guess what you're hearing right now is one of our borrowers, who is giving us a little shout out.
Yeah.
Don Wiggins.
Oh yeah. So is he giving a shout out to on another call?
No, he provided this to us, and we put it on our website. So.
Oh, is that right? So it's coming from I don't see the video though.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not running as a video, but that's Mr. Wiggins. We were happy to put it on our website. So.
Oh, cool.
Showing us his skills.
All right. Excellent. So all right, so this is it, and so I think that's clear. The one question I did have was for the CARES Act revolving loan fund and the traditional revolving loan fund. The amounts of disbursement are the same, 25,000 to 500,000.
That's correct.
Okay, so they're both the same. Okay, great.
That's correct.
Great. And you see all kinds of small businesses, right? Or is there like a traditional type of business that does well with these programs?
Well, just to give you an idea, we've helped a funeral home, a laundromat, a coin laundry, a few medical facilities have, upgraded their equipment. We've helped contracting companies, construction, and even some a hotel. So yeah, but it runs a gamut. We definitely, if a business comes to us and they have a solid plan, we would help them. So it's
right.
I can't say that there's a type of business in particular that does better than another. I mean, we all see businesses every day that some do well, some don't. But if you have a solid business plan and you come to us and you show this is how you can execute it, and you need these funds to be able to do it, and you show that you have an ability to repay, that's what we would look at and consider.
Right. For those business plans, I know that Jeff is the person that reviews them, but do you hear from Jeff, or do you have ideas about what makes for a good solid plan that you can say, yes, this is ready for funding? this is ready to be invested in this manner. Is there something that the organization looks for in a business plan in particular, or can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, what it comes down to is you see their numbers first, and if they have a good track record, with their finances, it shows that they have an ability to succeed. I mean, they've been going at it for 3 years, so we can pretty much get a good picture at it from that angle. And obviously with COVID, people have had issues with their finances, but prior to COVID, we would see what the trajectory was, so to say. And I mean, if they've been in business for 3 years and they have put together a business plan, they would show that they know what they're talking about. I mean, we would see that they have the growth, the numbers, they have the projections, and it's written out in the plan whether they can do it. We would see that in the numbers that they're sending us. The main thing is to keep your financial house in order. Make sure you have all your documents, make sure you fill out applications completely. If something is on one document, make sure it matches on the other document. And these are things that show that you are on top of your game and know exactly what you're talking about. What you don't want to do, which I have a lot, is tell me that you don't know what loan size you want. Because if you don't know what loan amount you need, then you really don't have a plan for the money, right? I mean, I understand if you say you can make adjustments if you can't get a certain amount, but some people call here with no idea of how much money they want. And, that's kind of a red flag for giving a loan right there.
Wow, that's super interesting, Steve. So I heard that you're looking in business plan to see what the growth trajectory has been in the past, right? For the company, are they growing? And if there's a dip, can we explain the dip because of COVID or something like that? But otherwise, the business is healthy and growing in terms of customers and revenue. I heard that. I also heard projections, right? What is the projected outlook for sales and revenue, et cetera? And that you have an idea of what you want the money for. It's not just to get money and to inject that into the business, but inject it with purpose. You have something that you're going to invest the money in that's going to yield, some sort of result. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I mean, and just to give you an example, we have we had a borrower that was trying to redo the kitchen, and they sent us every spec of every piece of equipment that they needed. They knew the price. They provided every detail. And when you get that, that they're very serious about what they need. They know exactly how much it costs. They know the plan to a T. And when you get that, that's definitely a good start. That makes our job a lot easier, knowing that this is someone that's serious and, has good intentions for our funds.
Wow, that's a great point. So be detailed, know what you want to do with the money that you're asking to borrow, right?
Most definitely.
Fantastic. Again, I want to remind everybody we're talking to Mr. Steve Foreman. He is the CARES Act loan administrator for the South Florida Regional Planning Council. They have $250,000 in that fund, but that changes as funds are being repaid from past loans. And there's a traditional revolving loan fund, and basically the programs overlap, and the only difference is in the interest rate. There's a 0.5% more interest rate demand on the traditional revolving loan fund from the SFRPC. So if you have a question, please don't be shy. If you have a comment, please don't be shy. Raise your hands and I will go ahead and pass you the mic. If you can just click on that, because I can't see everybody on the, actually I can if I remove the share. So that way I can see everybody. And if you want to speak up, please let me know. That being said, I wanted to ask you also, the nature of the loans that business owners apply for, or the reasons they're applying for the money. Do they vary also, Steve? Is it always about asset acquisition, perhaps like acquiring some assets, some physical asset, machines, vehicles, real estate? Or can it also be about improving capacity, like, for example, in accounting or in marketing or some aspect of the business? How do you
Well,
see that?
yeah, usually it's for equipment, new equipment, things like that. But yeah, also marketing is a big one. Um, they definitely use it to get their name out there, and marketing is a cost that has to be factored in to your business. Um,
Yeah.
and yes, they some use it to grow their staff. Um, we wouldn't necessarily
Mm,
recommend taking out a loan for payroll, but if you're trying to increase your staff, um, and you have a plan for that, and again, you can put it on paper that shows how that's going to work for you. That's definitely a use that people have used it for.
right.
But I would
Okay.
definitely say equipment, and the good thing about if it's equipment, they can use that equipment as collateral. So, they're in this essence making their collateral as they get new equipment. So,
Right. And one of the interesting things is what's going on. And I know that this might be a little bit far afield, but I know you've been in banking and mortgages, and you have a wealth of experience with this. But we're hearing that, I mean, these are pretty good interest rates. The interest rates on the commercial market are jumping higher, right? And they likely might get higher. What do you have anything to comment about that, or any observation?
well, I'll say that, our interest rate had started at 3.5% for the
Mm,
CARES, and now it's to 4 to 5%, because, our rates kind of reflect what's going on with the current interest rates. Fortunately, ours is still lower than everyone else's. So that's definitely, it should be a first place to look, wherever you get the best rate. But, we can't predict the future on what interest rates are, but you can tell that if you need a loan, now is the time to get it rather than wait for the interest rates to go higher. So
yeah. And it's interesting. You came into the organization at a challenging time, Steve, right?
yes,
So how was that for you? I mean, you came right in the midst of COVID, I believe, if I have the timeline correctly, and you've seen a lot of things, I'm sure, in those 2 years, like we all have. Um, when you look back at that time all the way up to today, what stands out for you?
um, what stands out to me? Well,
Or
that it looks
what
like
did you learn? What was surprising? What was
no,
shocking?
I'd just say that it almost looks like we're back to normal somewhat. Uh, you know, I see less mass, so we can survive. Like it's I know a lot of times it looked like we're all these businesses going to go under, was what was going to happen, and you know we pulled through, so I see all these business owners online right here. They also went through the struggles, and they're here today. So we can get through things. It's not always easy, but you know we just got to keep fighting. That's all.
I love that. Basically what you're saying is that we are bigger than the problems, right? We can get through them. We can work through them.
I mean, we kind of have to, we don't really have a choice, but, you know, you got to use all your resources that are available. And I don't really have to tell this group because I see them here today, but it's good to stay on top of everything that is available. And this is a good resource. I just learned some things today that, I'm going to take with me, so,
Mm,
so I can suggest to other business owners. And, just being knowledgeable. That's one thing. Being prepared for the unexpected. I hope everyone learned that. Um, being prepared. Well, in Florida, we've always had that to be prepared for hurricanes. So we know a
yeah.
little bit about preparation, but you have to be prepared to take payments when there's no electricity, or whatever. Be prepared for having to close your doors for 5 days. What are you going to do with your employees? You just have to be prepared. But like I said, seeing this group on here, I know this group is, you know, prepared.
Yes, we're gonna be prepared. That's for sure. And we're doing it in community, which is what I love the most. And for those of us who are joining us right now, we're talking to Steve Foreman. He is the CARES Act loan administrator for the South Florida Regional Planning Council. And I see that Jessica has her hand up. Jessica, please go ahead.
Hey, Steve, thank you so much for joining the huddle. I just had actually two questions. So some small businesses are really, I don't want to say allergic, but when they hear about loans to help their businesses grow, they get very gun shy that, oh, I don't want to be in debt, but sometimes you need to do that to take it to the next level. Like, what advice do you have for businesses that are on the cusp of something like that? And then my second question is more a technical question about your loan review process. Is the DNB score something that you require? Do people need to have a DUNS number? And I just wanted you to answer those questions for me, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, for the first question, whether you want to get a loan or you're gun shy, you have to really determine what you want out of your business and how big you want it to grow. Do you need the loan to grow? Are you patient enough to wait till you make the money to then do what you want to do? But one thing I'd say is, I think a lot of business owners should have a mentor, someone that they can ask, that they trust, that, we have these organizations that we work with, and, I wouldn't necessarily say you need one of them, but someone that you trust, that's knowledgeable about business and, is not personally connected to it, that they, as you are, but they can look at it from an outside eye and, give you a perspective, someone that you trust. As far as your next question, yes, we do require an employee number.
So an employee number, meaning, is that the DUNS number? An employee, employer ID
employee
number,
ID?
right?
Yes.
Oh, so no DUNS number. Or do you require both?
The DUNS number, that's the EI. No, we just need the EIN number. Right.
Okay, yeah, and everybody should have that when you start your business and you
Right.
register it with the IRS. You get issued that EIN number, right? Employer identification number,
Right.
and that means you're in business. So those are great questions, and I do come across that a lot, Steve. That we all have great ideas, and we have this dream of building this business, and we know that one of the key resources that any business needs is capital. And we also know that, putting our own equity into the business is how we start, right? We're the first investors in that business. But then it becomes like, to grow the business, I guess what I'm hearing is that you need to have a plan, Steve, you need to have a plan and a clear outlook of what you want to do with the money that you're asking for. And that it makes sense for your business to get into that debt for a good reason, because it's not the same debt that you're used to through credit cards, right? It's not the same thing. Can you speak a little bit about making that decision? I know you have already kind of hinted at it, but can you address that directly? Making that decision to go to a funder and apply for that debt. How should they approach that part of it?
Well, again, if I'm sure everyone that has their business has an idea of what they're looking for it to look like at, whether in 3 years and 5 years. I mean, you have that picture. So, what do you need to accomplish that is something that should be being thought of on day one, right? How are you going to get there? Do you need a certain amount of customers? Do you need to earn a certain amount before you take the next step? And then if you get to that point where you're trying to decide whether you should get a loan, you're going to look at the picture and see, how is this loan going to pay for itself? What am I going to get out of this loan? So,
right.
And when you put that on paper and you can see, am I going to recover that money, or is it, then you have to weigh it, because even if you project that you're going to take this loan and market, that doesn't necessarily mean someone is going to show up. So you have to be prepared for that as well. You know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to that plan, right? That it's not just it's just not a document that you just kind of like write one time and then abandon. It has to be where your thinking is about what's going on with your business and keep developing it so you know what you're doing, right? You feel confident too because you've planned it out.
And we're not looking to put anyone in a bad situation or take anyone's, we're not trying to make life more difficult. That's for sure.
Right.
So,
Right.
we do review everything carefully and definitely don't look to put anyone in a bad situation or something that they might not be able to handle.
That's right. That's right. And also, do you offer any support? So they apply, they send their business plan, you review it. Do you give applicants some feedback? What other things do you do around that process of the loan review?
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff does take a look at the loan that's being requested, and he will make suggestions on whether the loan size can be smaller or larger, and whether you can do different things. Whether maybe you should pay off a debt that has a high interest rate. We don't necessarily do this as a refinance loan, but if it comes down to it that you have something that's eating up a big chunk of your monthly payments, we might consider paying that off to help you, get the higher loan amount and get the equipment you need or whatever the case may be. But,
Yeah.
we do take a look at it and offer suggestions, but at the same time, if we feel you're not in the position to acquire a loan at this time, we would suggest going to one of those mentoring organizations like SCORE or MBDA, which is the Minority Business Development Association. And they'll work with you to put you in a plan, get your plan together so that you can work towards, putting yourself in a position to get a loan.
Fantastic,
If
Steve. Thank
that's
you
a
for that.
direction.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I wanted to ask you now, if we can zoom out a little bit and talk about the South Florida Regional Planning Council. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that there's some other projects, right? Like Brownfields program, CDFI for affordable housing. I heard Clean Cities, and also emergency planning and assistance, right?
Correct.
So what is the role of the South Florida Regional Planning Council? It's something that is in the Florida legislature, right? And there's many of them throughout Florida, and you guys represent our region. Is that right?
That's right.
So what is the mission of the South Florida Regional Planning Council, would you say?
Well, I'd say that it's to kind of get all the intergovernmental agencies to coordinate their efforts to make sure that all the bases are covered, make sure that Miami knows what Broward's doing and vice versa. And efforts aren't duplicated and efforts are made to make sure everything runs smoothly. But
That's right.
I like you mentioned our Clean Cities program, and I had the coordinator for that, Alicia Lopez. She actually had a program yesterday. It was Fleet Expo, and so I just invited her to say a little about her program and the success that she's having.
Good morning.
Great, Steve. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Huddle.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, Steve, for doing that. And yes, please, Alicia, tell us about your project.
No, definitely. So I'm the Southeast Florida Clean Cities Coalition, and what I actually do is help local governments, municipalities, counties, and private businesses convert their fleets over to an alternative fuel. So what I actually can do, especially for let's say if a small business is in transportation and they're looking maybe for electrification or they're looking for propane, compressed natural gas, what I can actually provide them is a fleet analysis for their actual fleet. And I can let them know the return on investment and what fuel would actually be the most beneficial for their organization. And then I also help with finding incentives and funding coming through either the federal government or state governments in order to help mitigate those upfront costs.
Wow, that's great assistance. That's amazing. we make sure that everybody has your contact info in the chat box, Alicia?
Yes, I will definitely put my contact in the chat. And what I was going to say is, yes, please feel free to reach out to me. Any questions, and I'm very transparent. If I don't know the answer, I will let you know, and I will always find a response. And I'll even reach out to the Department of Energy just in case if there is something that, there's some technical assistance that maybe these organizations require that can kind of be pushed to the federal level where they can assist as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Of course. No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I love what you guys
Please,
are
and
doing.
yes, and you guys are invited anytime. Please, we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. and please be part of our community and keep us informed.
Definitely. We'll definitely do
Yes. And Steve, also, we need your contact info in the chat box when you get a moment. And we're almost running out of time. So I want to do a last call for any questions or comments about what you heard today. I still have one or two more questions for Steve. But if you have a comment or questions, please raise your hand and I'll pass you the mic. One of the things you mentioned, Steve, that is that we're upon hurricane season, right? In fact, we start the tax reduction, right, so that we can get our supplies. And I cannot stress to everybody in the huddle that it's been a long time since we've had to deal with catastrophe like a hurricane that of the ilk of Andrew. And so I want to make sure that everybody is doing the right things to be prepared today, so that we can make sure that if we are presented with something like that, an emergency of that order or magnitude, that we're ready. And there's things that we should be doing as individuals and things that we need to be doing as business owners to prepare our businesses. Do you want to comment anything on that, Steve?
Well, I was just going to say, after COVID, I think you have an idea of what you need to do to prepare for something similar to a hurricane. So, you would take those same measures and make sure you have reserves, make sure you have an emergency fund, just be prepared for the unexpected, and make sure you can get paid without electricity.
I'm trying to help with that as well. I'm trying to help with as far as the electrical portion and working with FPL and making sure that we do have sustainable charging, in case of, God forbid, we do have to evacuate, especially with the EV owners, that there isn't a bottleneck like how there usually is with gas stations, so that we can actually flow the traffic and our constituents out of the state in those emergency,
Great. And your organization is making sure that we're kind of orchestrated in these efforts, right? That they're not here and there, just sporadic, but that they're orchestrated. So I'm glad that you guys are keeping an eye on that. Thank you for that. I see Ms. Gasleen and Shivas that have a question. So Ms. Gasleen, you're up. You have a question or comment?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Gasleen, hairstylist at Lavish Touches Hair and Spa Inc. and master wig artist at Threaded by Lavish in the Cutler Bay area. So if you want to get your hair service, come on by. My question for Steve is, say you started a business and you are a startup, and I know the loan is for 3 years. Is there any other recommendation for a startup business, but they have their profit and loss, they have the business plan and everything, situated and ready to go. They just want to be able to, like you said, get funding and prepare early instead of waiting later. And then is there like a fixed rate on the loans?
Yeah, it is a fixed rate. The rates range from 4 to 5%. As I said, it's usually at 4.5%. As far as not having the 3 years, but like you said, you have a plan, and it's never too early to start preparing to get a loan, whether it's making sure your finances are in order, making sure you're keeping track of everything properly. You have an accountant, and your plan is working, because if you have a 3-year plan, then what happens in year 1 should match your plan, and year 2, and then you're working towards your loan. If you're saying you need a loan before the 3 years, there's those different programs that Danilo was mentioning at Miami-Dade or things like that I would definitely look into. But as far as whether it's a traditional bank or through us, that would require the 3 years, it's just a matter of making sure you stay the course and are prepared for that loan, and it's still what you need at 3 years.
Okay, so you have no recommendation like another CDFI or anything of that nature to like contact
For a
for the 1
business with
year?
less
If
than
you're
3 years,
correct.
again, I've been in the same boat as far as looking around for different things to
Mhm.
recommend to people, and there is no one place that lists everything. And like I was saying, I learned something here from Danilo today with money that I have to
Yeah.
look into so I can recommend, to people that don't have 3 years. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of looking around everywhere because things change every day. People say they
Absolutely.
have money and then it's gone. And,
Yeah.
so you just have to keep looking around and come to places like this and see who has the money.
And then there was another thing you mentioned about collateral. Help me understand, what does that mean when you say, you're ready for the loan or whatever have you, and then you make purchases on the equipment that you need for your business? How does the collateral thing works?
Well, collateral just has to be of value to what the loan is. So if you want to borrow 50,000, your collateral would have to be worth 50,000. And we, for big equipment, not necessarily computers or things that devalue rather quickly. But if it's things for an office or a store, we can definitely use that. But we wouldn't consider the actual merchandise as collateral.
Mm. So assets, right, Steve? Assets
That's correct.
that you have. Yeah, like properties, other sources of capital that you may have, et cetera, right?
That's correct. But unfortunately, we
Fantastic.
can't use the merchandise
Yeah,
that would need to be resold.
right. Got it. That makes sense. Thank you so much, Ms. Gasoline. I see. And also, Ms. Gasoline, I can connect you to other CDFIs. Please write to me, okay? And
I
also, for
definitely will.
everybody, yes, I can connect you to a whole list of them. Also,
Okay.
that list is actually a little harder, not harder to find, but it's not in a list. But you can go to Axis Helps, AXISHELPS.org. All the CDFIs, yes, all the CDFIs and all the funding sources are actually listed there. You don't have to go hunting around.
And then
So
before you get on somebody,
AXIS, yeah.
before you go to somebody else, you was mentioning something about rental assistance or whatever have you.
Yes.
How does that work for someone who's trying to move and find a new
So
location?
yeah, I put the links at the beginning of the meeting, and I just put them now to
I
where
got
you can go to the City of Miami ERAP and Miami-Dade County ERAP.
Okay.
So I'm not sure about the exact rules, but I sent a link to the actual application. So reach out to those contacts on that application and submit the application if you're needing that help. And also I share that information knowing that most of you probably don't need that help, but you may know somebody that needs to be blessed with that information. So please pass that on, okay? So it's there in the chat box.
And
I have a bunch of folks. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Gasoline.
I'm done after this. I noticed that Shivas posted NRS. So
You're cut out, Ms. Gasoline.
sorry, my phone was ringing. Shivas had posted something about NRS. So when he gets to speaking, if he can explain that for me. And that's it.
Yeah,
Thank
Shivas, you had yes. I'm gonna go. So we're almost out of time, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I'm gonna go really quick to Shivas, then I'm gonna go really quick to Miss Stacy, and I know Miss Denise had her hand up as well. So let's go to Shivas first.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to encourage all the business owners to don't wait till you need the money to get the money. If you have the position to or the credit to get the money, the loan, the business credit, get it now so it's available when you need it. I prepared for hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it before I needed it. And so when COVID hit, I wasn't in a situation where I was in a squeeze, So I'm telling you, don't be afraid to ask for money. The system, living in America in a capitalistic system, is made for you to be a business owner. So they're looking for people to give the money to. So don't be scared to get the money, or don't be scared to get into debt. Do you want to have a problem with no money or having too much money that you owe back? You have to make that decision. So I want to encourage you, don't wait to get the money. Get it as soon as possible. And just be ready. All these people that Danilo have coming on, reach out to them. If they're offering money, go get the money. They're here to give you the money. And then that way you can be able to do what you need to do to move forward so you can have more opportunities. Because when those opportunities come and you're broke or you don't have the money for it, then you miss it. But if you have the money, you can take advantage of those opportunities. Whether you succeed or fail, at least you got to be able to do it and not look back and say, I wish I had the money to do it. I already had those opportunities and missed them. So I knew the next time, get the money early. So when opportunity comes, I'll be able to do it. The NRS was sent by mistake. I was supposed to send that to someone else who was asking the question. So that was supposed to be in a private chat. But NRS is a system I use for my convenience store. And then she was asking which one I use. So that wasn't for the crowd. That was actually supposed to go private. But it's not nothing,
Yeah.
that you can't
So
know.
Shivers, you're in New York?
I'm in New York. I'm in Rochester right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So he's a multi-state entrepreneur, everyone, and he knows of what he speaks. Trust me, he's giving you great advice. I see Yasnay said that she was writing that in the chat box as well. Don't wait. Get ready, now, in anticipation of needing the capital down the line. So that's good advice as well. So I'm going to go to Miss Stacy. Miss Stacy.
Good morning, Delino. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Steve and Alicia. I just wanted to ask really quickly if you had any resources regarding the emergency and energy arm of your organization. And also, well, Danilo mentioned the CDFIs because I was going to ask if you could share a little bit of information regarding the CDFI arm of your organization.
Sure. Yeah, well, our CDFI, it works to bring affordable housing to the South Florida region. Usually we work with organizations that, are established and have experience developing affordable housing. And we, are able to provide them with loans when they come with plans of, getting that together. We really don't work with necessarily individual builders, but it's more with organizations that have established in building affordable housing. What was your other question?
Okay, my other question was if you could mention any resources you may have available for business owners in the energy and emergency arm of the organization.
I know that right now DOE actually does have a program to work with small businesses in the energy sector, which I can provide you some additional information if you'd like in regards to that program. But I know that they are working with small businesses in that area right now. And then as far as emergency management, I can definitely provide some context for the Department of Environmental Protection, as well as the Environmental Protection Agency. Because I know they do work with small businesses and they have a specific program, so I can definitely provide that information. My email address is in the chat. If you'd like, Ms. Stacy, you can just go ahead and email me directly so I have your contact information and then we can go from there.
Okay, thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Miss Stacy. Thank you for joining the Morning Huddle. It's great to see you. Miss Denise will get the last word, guys. Miss Denise, you had a question or a comment?
My question or my comment was, number one, Mr. Chavez said some excellent advice, and it kind of rebuttals into what I wanted to ask or inquire. We know the banks have these huge demands or expectations of a business. And what Mr. Chavez said, yes, it makes you frightful to want to not apply, because what if things don't happen how it should? Instead of them giving you a contract or connecting you to the services you provide and let you build the wealth, then the collateral, because sometimes, with, like you said earlier, Danielle, we are the only investors and we only have what we have as collateral. So why not help, if we really serious about businesses developing, connect them to the services they provide so that they can have a fishing pole instead of giving a fish.
Yeah.
So Mr. Chavez, it's nice. I would love to be like you. I'm getting there. I'm trying to get there, but we still need a little push. We're not there yet.
Thank you, Ms. Denise. Anything you wanted to add to that, Steve, or any last final comments that you would like to make?
No, I agree with her. I mean, I really wish that, we could definitely help businesses that don't have collateral or, because I know there are a lot out there that, the assistance to grow, and they just don't have the collateral. And unfortunately, it is a guideline requirement for us, and
Yeah.
I'm sure for traditional banks as well. But working, if you can find government contracts, that's a source that can be used as collateral. Or if you just get contracts that show that you're going to be paid for a job done, we can consider that as collateral. Kind of have to be creative.
Yeah, you got to be creative. That's the key. And one of the things I wanted to add to that, Steve, is what attracted me in my life to entrepreneurship is that the way I've always understood the definition of entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunities despite resources control. I'm an immigrant. I've been a refugee of war. My family has been completely penniless from having to not having anything. And I said, entrepreneurship is the key that I need, because with imagination, creativity, and just good old fashioned hard work, yes, is it easy? Absolutely not, right? But it can happen, and it's a process, and it takes time. So we have to have patience, and it's hard. I know these things, but I want to share before everybody goes real quick. I want to share something that we talked about there, because there are resources. With the mayor's office, the mayor wants to make it easier than ever to start and grow a small business. And if you're in the huddle, you know that the mayor's office, and I am for real about it. The mayor is for real about it, and you see the results. So one of the things I want to show you is that Access Helps website. So when you go to Small Business Resources, go here to your business funding guide, right? And sign up for their newsletter because it's amazing. And here is the CDFI list, Ms. Gasoline, okay? So here's the credit unions. They're mapping out the way that you get to these, to getting the funding that you need to build your business dream. At first, it's you, right? Or whoever you borrow from in your immediate family, friends, however we have to make it happen, right? But then you have a spectrum of helpers. And on one end are the financial banks, right? And in between are a bunch of organizations that are not just commercial lenders, but that will work with you, like the South Florida Regional Planning Council, right? I'm trying to make it a little bit easier. And then, of course, the CDFIs which make it even easier, because their credit score requirements are a little bit lower. They understand that you don't have, perhaps the resources that other established businesses have. So you can come here to the CDFIs, and you can click on it here and understand what a CDFI is. And if you're in the huddle, you've heard me say CDFI many, many times. And you can get a list, and you can answer your questions here about why a CDFI, what they are, why they're helpful. Here's a list that you're looking for of CDFIs in our community. We've had these folks on the morning huddle. That's my job, to make sure that I get this information in your hands. Okay. So I just want to let you know that there are resources. The mayor, the mayor's office, the entire Miami-Dade County, and plus all these great leaders like the South Florida Regional Planning Council, like Steve and Alicia, are there. We all have a part of the puzzle. We all have a part of the puzzle. No one entity can do it all. But I just want to encourage you guys to stay positive, and let's go get what we need. And with that, I want to thank Steve and Alicia for being part of the morning huddle. Thank you all so much for what you're doing. And
thank you for what you're doing, Danilo.
Yes.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for being a part of the huddle, and come back anytime. And if you have any news that you want to share with our business owners, especially now that we're heading into a hurricane season, I think we need to stay together and stay informed about what's going on in our community. So the huddle is going to be even more meaningful for everybody. So please keep supporting the morning huddle. It's not mine, it's ours. So thank you all so much. And I will see you next Friday. We have Michelle Caba from the Fama agency. We're going to be talking about marketing and how to attract new customers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks,
Alicia.
Danilo.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Enjoy
Mr.
your holiday. Enjoy the weekend.